Hello everybody, this is Kristen. Welcome back to Adventures in Metaphysics and our final video in which feels like a bit of a long spring deck clean out, but this has been really super helpful for me and I hope you've been enjoying coming along for the ride. But in this video, we are just going to do all the rest. So all the rest of the categories are a bit smaller. So they are ones that I don't feel I need much variety in, or, whatever the reason. So the first section is a bit surprising to me, and we're going to go through my cute decks, which I would have thought would have been a section that would have been up there with my, animal and nature decks of, feeling like I could have a lot of variety, but I don't think it's the case. Believe it or not, I can't believe it. Anyways, so the first deck we have is the Playful Heart Tarot. And I love this one. I love the art style and the bright colors. Not to mention the cardstock. It's made by the same printers as Pagan Otherworlds and Carnival at the End of the World. And it's just a super nice linen cardstock. It's some of my favorite. But anyway, I really like the interpretations that the creator has of the cards. I got this one thinking it was going to be an inner child deck, but it has not turned out that way for me. I have really, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it doesn't feel very inner child to me. I actually don't know that I have a deck I would say is like an inner child deck, because that is work that I don't really tend to do too much of. Not for any particular reason, I guess. I have a very childlike personality as it is, so most of the things I'm working on, at least right now, are the blocks around I have, or, whoa, that just came out of my mouth, weird. The blocks I have around showing off that inner child that comes out pretty easily for me. So this is the Playful Heart Tarot, and this is a definite keep. I just have the best readings with this deck. And I do think it would work really well as an inner child deck if that's something that you're seeking out. For me, I feel like it almost just allows me to connect to a real sense of self. Just because, I don't know, those illustrations are how I feel on the inside. If that makes any sense. All right, so the next deck we have is one that I think has to compete with the Playful Heart when I'm going to choose a deck like that, and it is my Happy Tarot. And I have really enjoyed this deck. I love all the colors and the happy faces, and I like that it really doesn't exaggerate anything too much, so the sad cards or the hard cards are going to show sad faces. It's not the Happy Tarot in a toxic positive kind of way. I cannot get words out of my mouth today. See, the Five of Pentacles. They're not looking too happy there. But they're so cute. Yeah, I love the bright colors, but I don't know. Since getting the Playful Heart Tarot, I don't reach for this one. Even though the art styles are pretty different, I haven't really found a place that this fits in where I would choose it over the Playful Heart Tarot. Oh, look at that magician though. This isn't one I feel ready to get rid of yet, but I do think we are going to put it in the purgatory bucket for now. I could see myself missing this one, even though I feel like I just haven't used it in forever. the art style feels completely different. How cute. Yeah, I think this one is going to go into the bucket for now, not going away. And I love the backs of this deck too. How cute is that? That like moon kind of image. I also love just the size. It's thinner, which makes it really nice to shuffle. So that is the Happy Tarot, and we're going to just think a little bit more on that one. It's going to get a bit of a timeout. So the next deck I have is my cute deck of all cute decks. Probably my favorite one. If I had to pick one to keep out of this whole category, it would be my Mons Tarot, which I finally just made a bag for. I was like so stuck on it because I didn't know what was right to make, but we went with this like purple to dark blue to light blue with these really cool purple and blue swirled beads. You can see it better there. To kind of match the backs. That's what I landed on. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but oh, you can see it on the guidebook. My inspiration. So, that's what I went with. Anyhow, this is one of my absolute favorites. This one does not hold back. Even though the illustrations are so cute, it does not feel like soft or super comforting to me in any way. This actually is probably, aside from my Northern Animal Tarot, which is, you know, if I'm gonna use a term like soul decks, which I'm not certain how I feel about that term, but that would be my Northern Animal Tarot through and through, but this is a close second when it comes to my tarot decks. It reads so clearly for me. I just feel like it really gets me. Oh my gosh, that sounds like I'm talking about like a boy I had a crush on in middle school. He just gets me. Oh, I love the artwork on this. I have the Traveler version too. That's at work, and that's the one I originally had, and I loved it so much. When I saw the full version up for sale on Facebook, I didn't even hesitate so that I could see the pictures just a little bit bigger. And I'm really happy I did, because this is a deck that works super well at work too. Having the mini version, that works really well. Since I work in a children's room, I feel like having something that is kind of like a little bit cutesy like this just puts me in the right headspace when I get to work. So I tend to always pull from my travel version of that whenever I get to work in the morning, but I like having this full version just for myself to keep at home. I love that tower. So this is the Mons Tarot. This is the second edition. So the next one, oh, I know what's going to be next. This one I feel like has to compete with Mons Tarot, oddly enough. So I feel like in this category, my favorites that I use all the time are Mons Tarot and Playful Heart. And where the Happy Tarot was competing with Playful Heart, Bumbleberry Hollows competes with Mons Tarot. And what I mean by compete is that when I am going to choose a deck, if I feel like I want to use something that is like cute and animated, I want to choose the Mons Tarot, but I feel guilty that I'm not choosing Bumbleberry. Does that make sense? That's what I mean by they're competing. And this deck is so cute. I mean, this is like the definition of cute. I would go as far to say this is probably the cutest deck I have. And I love the pies as the pentacles. It is a pip deck, but I don't mind it. And I have had good readings with this one. I think if it didn't feel like it was in competition with the Mons Tarot, I wouldn't have feel any sort of problem with it. Not that it's a problem, but I just don't think it's ever going to win out over the Mons Tarot, just because I feel so connected to that one. But I'm certainly not ready to get rid of this one either. I also heard that it was one of the Cups cards. The pips weren't the right number. It's not the 10, maybe it's the 7? Now I want to find it. Hold on, we're going to find it. It was one of the Cups cards. So I feel like after learning that as well, I feel like that to read with it, I don't know that it bothers me. I don't think I would, I'm not one to sit there counting the pips. I pretty much look at the label on the bottom. But I think just the feeling that, you know, the creator or publisher or whatever either didn't pay attention to that or just like figured, you know, whatever. Not saying that that's necessarily what happened. I don't know, but I guess that's the feeling I get. I guess, I don't know. I feel like I'm holding on to that idea that maybe that's what happened. So I feel like that is a thing as well. Oh my gosh, I really want to find this, but I feel like it's going to be kind of hard to find. Well, anyway, I don't remember exactly which one it was. I think it's the 7, but one of the pips doesn't have the right number of cups, which is a little bit strange, in my opinion. Since everything else is in keeping with it, so it's not even like, you know, they just went, oh my gosh, are you kidding? Ha! It was right there. So it's not the 7. That's, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not the 7. What the heck? Which one was it? Is that even a thing? Hold on. I'm bothered. No, I'm not going to make you sit here and go through a whole flip through, but supposedly there is, that's 5, a cup card that doesn't have the right number of cups. What was it? Erg. No, it's going to bother me. I'm sorry. We got to do this. 6. Nope. That has 6. Okay. They're color-coded, so maybe it won't be that hard. There's the ace. La, 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 la. That has 2. Speed round. Maybe it's the 8. No, that has 8. That has 8. That has 8. What was it? Is it possible that, like, maybe that was an earlier edition or something? I don't know if there's, like, multiple editions of this deck, honestly. I got it used on Facebook, so I've not really looked into, like, the website or anything too much. All right. I'm not finding that card. So maybe that is not true. So we're going to let go of that feeling. But regardless, it does feel like it competes with my Mons Tarot. So I think we're going to put this one in timeout too. Not getting rid of, because I've got a feeling that once it's summertime, I think because of all this like pie imagery and cooking and things like that, I think I could want to use this in the summer. Because I do tend to lean towards decks seasonally. All right, now that we've sat through all that, or I guess you've sat through all that, my apologies. We're going to move on to my last 2 decks, and they're both made by the same creator. They're put out by Quarter Press. So the first is the Tarot of the Unknown. This is a deck based off of one of my favorite cartoons, Over the Garden Wall. And this deck, it's just cute to me because I just think that cartoon is so cute. And it just puts me in that childlike space. I love cartoons. I'm a big cartoon watcher. I have an Adventure Time tarot coming that I funded on Indiegogo, and I'm super, super excited about that. That is my favorite cartoon of all time, but this is a close second. So I love this deck. It reads really well, so it's, you know, it feels more than just kind of like a novelty type thing. It's a really nice pocket size, which I love, so it's easy to handle. Yeah, I love this one. I just think it's so cute. I tend to use this a lot more in the fall and winter just because of the color palette, but also that show feels very, very fall-based, so that's just kind of what makes sense to me. So anyhow, that is the Tarot of the Unknown, and that is a definite stay. So I have... Actually, I'm going to leave this one out, because the other deck I have is... Oh my gosh, I always forget the name because I want to call it the Divination. I think I did it in the first video too. It's the Phantasma Oracle. Okay. This was one that I backed on Kickstarter, and it's another like vintage, it is a vintage cartoon themed deck, which I love old cartoons. And this one is super, super cute. It's this really nice small square size, which is different. But I think I've maybe only used it once or twice, and I got this in like months ago. Probably in the fall. And I've only used it once or twice. Although, so the reason I wanted to keep them out next to each other, I was wondering if they would look good together. And actually they do. Right? That might be a combination to try. But this one also feels very fall winter to me. So this one I think is going to go in timeout. But I think it'll probably hang out there until that season rolls around, and I'll see if I use it then in combination with some of my more fall decks, because I think actually this would work really well. Yeah, okay. That's the decision. It's just going to go in a little mini timeout. Well, I guess really a long time out until the fall season. And then if that whole season goes by and I've still not touched it, then we'll know. It's ready to go. But right now, we're holding on to it. Okay, so I think that is the last of my cute decks. And next we're going to move on to my... Let's move on to my spooky decks. Alright, so in my spooky decks section, I have all 3 of my Holly Audley decks. I think just because she themes a lot of her decks around cemeteries and ghosts and things like that, that I just feel like her work always feels really spooky in the best kind of way to me. So we just stuck them all in here. And the first is the mini Divi Ghosts. And I love this deck. She's putting out 5 more, I believe 5 more, of these mini Divis that either you can keep separate or they'll have the same back so that you can combine them. And they're just a really nice, clear oracle card where you get the keyword, but you also get the sentence to go with it right on the card. And I just love what she has to say in these. I think they're so fun, but I get the best messages. And again, like, I just love the simplicity of not having to go through a guidebook with this one. So it's really nice to kind of take on the go or travel with so that I can just do faster readings with it. I love this one. And I cannot wait to get my hands on the rest of them because I just already know I'm going to love them. So that is the mini Divi Ghosts. And the kind of partner to it that came out on her Kickstarter was the Teeny Tiny Tarot. And I love this little bag I made for it. I just think it's the cutest. She always uses this beautiful peachy orange color, which I just think is the best color. And this like rust. So that was the inspiration. But this is another one that is just super straightforward. I would call it more of a pip deck, but it's a mini size, hence Teeny Tiny Tarot. And you know what? It does go in a spooky direction, because for the pentacles, we've got eyeballs. I love this Fool card. I love her illustration style. Swords are needles. We've got these sticks for wands. And the cups, I think, are... I love the broomsticks on this one. Yeah, you know, so this definitely leans spooky. Oh yeah, for cups, we've got these, like, skull cups. These are super cute, too, but I love the slight spooky feel it has, and just the simplicity of these images. This is my favorite Tower card. Everything you thought you knew, and it's falling apart. Ugh. I love that. Also, that chariot is so funny. Not usually one for, like, simple drawings like this, but this deck is totally the exception. I think it's the color choices, too, and I just really like her style of drawing. So, that is the Teeny Tiny Tarot. And if you couldn't tell, these decks are all staying. I love these ones. The last Holly Oddly one is my Bonaventure Cemetery divination deck. I really love these little oracle cards. They remind me a bit of my... Oh my gosh, why are they sliding? They remind me a bit of my Memento Mori deck, where the keywords aren't ones that are super, super clear in terms of, like, being able to know a meaning right away, but I feel like the images is more, or are more what you pull on. But again, just like with the Memento Mori, I have kind of come to either just remember the keywords or I come up with my own, if that makes sense. So it does have a guidebook that goes with it. So you can look at that. But I just find it's really similar to my Memento Mori in that way. And I love, again, just this color is so pretty. I love these cards. Aren't they amazing? So this is the Bonaventure Cemetery divination deck by Holly Oddly. Alright, I guess now that we've talked about Memento Mori, we will... You know, I've showed that one actually so many times. I'm not going to really pull it out of its bag. I'm sure you've all seen Memento Mori, so we're just going to plop it right there. This one's not going anywhere. It's probably never going anywhere. But this expansion pack confuses me. It really confuses me. It seems like a really cool idea. It's the Ancestors and Advisors. So each card is kind of like a personal significator in a way. So like we've got grandson, cousin, sister, and then there's like she, her, foe, teacher. This one's teacher. So it's supposed to point to different people. So I assume the purpose is that these cards point to perhaps spirits that are coming through. And I've tried shuffling them into the deck, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. I do wish that the creator, Claire Goodchild, would come out with almost like, not even instructions, but at least kind of how she intended it to be used, or even how she personally uses it. Because it's not I'm definitely not the only one who feels this way about this expansion. I know a lot of other people I know who have it feel the same, where it's just kind of confusing. I know she's coming out with a book in October about spirit communication, so I'm going to put this one in timeout until that book comes out, because I know I'm definitely getting that book. I'm really interested in that topic, and I'm curious to see if she mentions this at all and how she uses it in that. But if not, if I'm still kind of stuck on it, then I think these can go for me, because I don't know, just haven't been able to make them work, unfortunately. And my deck is huge enough at this point with just 2 of the expansion packs that I don't know, maybe it's for the better anyhow. So my last spooky deck is my only playing card deck, and it is my Little Reaper deck. This brings me so much joy. And again, it's my only playing card deck, so if I'm going to do any sort of playing card divination, it's going to be this one. So it definitely has its own slot. I'm not worried about it. But it is just so stinking cute. Each card has its own illustration of this Little Reaper. Oh my gosh, how freaking cute. I love this one. Isn't that so good? I use this one year round, but I'm really excited to bring it out in the fall. So that is my Little Reaper deck, and that is my last, that's my last spooky deck. All right, so my last kind of bigger category here is my witchy category. So this one, I don't know, it kind of flip-flopped between cute and witchy and spooky, I guess. It fit in all the above, but it's my little Halloween tarot in a tin, and I love this little guy. I don't tend to like having many decks that feel super specific to a certain season or holiday. You know, like I said, I will find that I lean towards certain decks in certain seasons, but overall, I do feel like a majority of my decks I could use year-round if I wanted to, but, you know, this is one that I just know I wouldn't use it outside of probably the month of October. But I love Halloween so much that I'm okay with that. I've got this one and one other one that, you know what, I guess I might as well just show next, that revolve around my favorite seasons and holidays, so having one deck specifically for each of those, I'm definitely okay with, but I don't really feel like I would want more than that, because I'm not really sure I'd use it outside of that season. So that is my Halloween tarot in a tin. And this is actually one that my older sister got for me for Christmas this year. She's really into knitting, and she found it actually at this really cool yarn and antique shop, and the owner reads tarot, and whenever she's looking to rehome decks, she just puts them up for sale at a discounted price in her shop, which I think is super fun. So she found it there and got it for me for Christmas, and I just love it. So the other one I was talking about that is my other very like holiday season specific deck is my Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. And these oracles are really, really well done. I don't have the Samhain one, but I honestly could see myself getting that. But I really love this Yule one. I find it's one that I can use all winter long, even like late fall. Pretty much as long as it's snowing, I feel like I can use this one. And will use this one as a moon deck, or like if I'm doing shadow work, I'll still pull it out even though, you know, we're not totally in winter anymore. I really love this oracle. And I kind of feel like I would feel the same about the Samhain one, but I figured, you know, they're mass market, so I could just get it if I wanted to when we get to that season. The only one I've not really been tempted by is the Beltane, but I think it's just because fall and winter are for sure my favorite holidays. While I like spring and summer, I think just the images and colors associated with that I'm not super, super into. So for now, we are good with these. And this is my Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. So that one is definitely staying. You know what? I've got one. I'm not even going to take it out of the box because I know it's going. I know it is. And it is my English Magic Tarot. I got this such a long time ago and maybe used it once. The images are just off-putting to me, honestly. And the borders, the thick borders. I got this one when I was interested in doing some ancestral work, which I'm no longer super interested in doing as of now. And I really got it because I have a lot of British ancestry, so I was like, oh, English magic, that would be awesome. But it didn't give me the right feeling, and it's just not for me. So I know this one is definitely going. That is the English Magic Tarot. So next, let's look at my Everyday Witch Tarot. Look at the little witch hats. They bring me so much joy. I love this bag. This might be my favorite bag I've made. I don't know. I was really excited about it. It took me so long to get on the train of this deck. I was being so stubborn about it. And I'm kind of sad I was, because I totally see the hype. It's so awesome. I love it. I know a lot of people don't really like how there's sometimes like modern situations mixed with this kind of Renaissance clothing, but that, I don't know, it doesn't really bother me at all. Honestly, the feeling I get from it is like almost as if it's taking place in a Renaissance festival, which I think is so much fun. And I love the idea of like seeing someone driving down the street on a motorcycle with a witch's hat. It's like, that's someone I want to be friends with if I see that. This gives really clear readings. Oh, I love this deck. I just think it's so fun. And it's just a really clear reader. I feel like I just felt, using it for the first time, it just felt so natural. Like I've been using it for years almost. That's the sense I got. So that is the Everyday Witch Tarot. It also has some of my favorite backs. I just think it's so fun. Do I have, oh yes, I've got two more here. So this next one is the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle, and this one is new to me. This is one that Rachel, woo, I'm throwing things everywhere. Rachel, what? I cannot think of words. Decluttered. So she decluttered this from her collection. And, well, it's not my usual style. I figured I would just give it a shot, because I don't really have anything that is very modern feeling like this is. But also, I don't know, I feel like it's similar to Everyday Witch, where it kind of has both modern and just like witchy elements to it, but I don't know. I'm honestly not sure this is one that's going to work out for me, but again, I'm still wanting to give it a try. Because I do like the diversity, and I like the body diversity. It's the only deck I really have right now that has that, which I'm looking to definitely add some more decks like that to my collection. I just haven't found one that really feels like it clicks yet. Although I'm thinking of the This Might Hurt Tarot. I'm not exactly sure. I almost feel like, I don't know, I think modern images throw me off a little bit when I'm reading tarot, because it feels like such a magical practice to me. But I do want something that is a bit more representative. Although, I mean, I really tend to have mostly, like, animals in my decks. But anyhow, that one is staying for now to give it more of a chance. And my last one is the Witchlings deck by Paulina Cassidy. And I do think this one is really fun. I love the idea that it's kind of a spell deck. The guidebook is a book of spells, so each card, you can use it in a divinatory kind of way, where you get a keyword and a little sentence under here, but if you go into the guidebook, it'll give you an extended meaning, but also a few spells you could do around the intention shown. So I feel like I've held on to it for so long, thinking I would use it for that, but honestly, I've not done that. I'm not really one to do too much spell work. I enjoy candle magic, but really for me, it's about the cards. That's where most of my practice comes from. So while I do it occasionally, it's not something I lean into like consistently. So I think this is another one that is going in the timeout bin for now, because I just don't use it, and the art style is cute, but I don't know, it's not my favorite. I think the colors are a bit muted where I feel like I can't really see what's going on super well. Oh my gosh, I'm whacking things all over. Anyway, now that I've just completely slapped my camera down, this one is going into the timeout bin. I'm not really certain, honestly, how long it'll stay there, because I'm pretty sure my mind's made up about it. I don't use it. I don't really connect to the art style, but I'm not looking to be hasty. But that is the last of my witchy decks, and now the next, we've got 3 more categories, but each really only have like 2 decks in it, so we're just gonna power through the rest of those right now. Alright, I think the next decks I want to do are the 2 that just didn't really fit into any category. And one is my Pixies Astounding Lenormand, which is definitely staying. It's the only Lenormand deck I have, and probably the only one I'll have for quite some time. I don't use a Lenormand often, but when I do, this deck just works so well that, I don't know, I don't really feel the need to have others. If you hear a little bell, that's just CD running around. Actually, I'm going to close this window I have here just on the off chance that there is another cat outside, because she gets a little nasty when there is. Anyhow, the other deck in this category are my Symbolon cards. And if you saw my 7 decks for Deadly Sins, this was in the Wrath section, because it frustrates me, and I've held on to it for so long, and I don't know why. Oh, it frustrates me so much. It's just honestly not super usable for me. I know there's probably a lot of meaning. We've got like all these symbols here, but I can't personally make any meaning from it. And I think I just need to stop torturing myself by holding on to it and just not getting it. So this one's going. We've made the decision. I feel like I keep holding on to it because I'm like, oh, well, what if it works in this way? What if it works in this way? I haven't tried. And it just doesn't work for me, and we need to accept it. So the Symbolon deck is going, hopefully, to a new home that will not be so confused by it. All right, my next little category are my mermaid decks, and I've got 2 tarots. The first one is my Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot, and I love this deck. I love the art style and all the colors. I really like that it is definitely mermaid-esque, but doesn't feel exclusively beachy, I guess you could say. I think because of the colors used and things like that. Because I'm not too much of a water person, but I do sometimes want to bring that kind of energy in, and I think this works super well for me with that. I don't feel disconnected from it at all. I really love this one. So this really is like my water deck. And I love mermaids. I love the idea of mermaids, so not to say that I don't like that, but I don't know that I really need 2 mermaid decks. So my other that I have is the Tempest Tarot. And I really loved these images when I saw them a few months ago. At the time, I liked the simplicity. I liked how it felt kind of piratey. But I don't use it. And I've gone back to my Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot because, I don't know, usually I lean into that kind of watery element in the summer, so this one is definitely one that gets more use in the summer. So, just as a test, I took my Dame Darcy back out maybe like a week or 2 ago, and I just knew I wasn't going to reach for this one over my Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot. It is a really cool deck, but I'm not super sure if the muted colors and lack of color is really for me. Where I know someone who is totally going to appreciate this deck, so this one is going. I don't really feel like I need 2 mermaid decks. As nice as this one is, I love the backs. Aren't those so fun? As nice as this one is, I know it's always going to be the Dame Darcy one. So, we're going to pare it down to 1. All right, and now we are down to our last 2 decks. That is exciting. It's been a journey, hasn't it? A fun one, but a journey. So these are my 2 decks that are very purely people energy. If that makes any sense. So both of these, spoiler alert, are staying. Because I don't have much of a variety in this category. Plus, I just love these decks. The first are my Hilda Tiles, and these are never going anywhere. They are a treasure. I love them. I'm going to try and carefully bring you in closer. As I do that, I completely lock my phone. So, my apologies, but we're going to keep you up here. But these are the Hilda Tiles. And these are just so fun and different to use. It's such a different tactile experience. And I also just really love the deck that is used to make these tiles, the Hilda Tarot. This is one that if I am doing any sort of self-love reading, body positivity reading, which is really something I'm working on, I pretty much exclusively use this deck when I'm doing that kind of work. It just, I don't know, it works really well for that. It feels kind and nurturing, but not in a way that I feel like it's hiding anything from me, if that makes sense. So, these are my Hilda Tiles, now that I've made a huge mess of them. Alright, and last, but certainly not least, we have my Traveler's Saceribito Tarot. And this one was new to me in March, but I have just already fell head over heels for this one. It reads so clearly for me. Again, it feels really different because I don't have something like this in my collection where it's just people. They are, more modern feeling for the most part. This is my favorite King of Cups of all time. I love the interpretations of the cards through the artwork. My favorite 9 of Cups. Oh, so good. I like pulling out this 9 of Cups as like a placeholder when I'm doing self-love or body positivity readings with my Hilda Tiles. I like to set this one out because this just... I've talked about this card before, so we don't need to go into it, but just everything I need to feel in terms of that is in that card. Oh, I love this deck. It's just, I don't know, really good. Really a clear reader. I love it. I love it. I love it. So that is the Saceribito Tarot, and that is my last deck that I have to show in this spring cleaning. So thank you so much again for coming along this ride with me so that I could kind of talk through my process out loud and really get down to the decks that I want to be using right now. So it doesn't mean we're getting rid of all of these decks. Again, most of them are going in that timeout bin for me to think about and see if I'm missing them kind of thing, but I feel really good about where I am with my collection, and I just know it's all stuff that I'm excited to use, and I feel like I'm at a place where I'm not going to sit there going, oh, I really want to use this deck, but I feel guilty that I'm not using this other one. So anyhow, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will be back very soon with a different kind of video.